Okay, once again, welcome back right here on Star TV, of course. Welcome back to another edition of the Monday Night Football with my very self, Sarah Kamara, alongside, that is Mbai Kor, right here with us. Campo, together with Yero, are not available in our today's program edition, but all the same, we will be giving you, some of the updates on news, that is on sport news, football news, or players who are playing outside. We will be giving you, some updates on that, and also we also be talking about the coaching issue regarding the Gambia. As you already know, is Gambians are still now awaiting, coaches, a name that the GFF is going to give us, that he will be responsible for the national team. And we'll also be talking about the stadium, as already done by Core, was today at the Independence Stadium together with the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Bakari Wai Baji. We'll be giving you updates on those things. And if time permits us, we'll also be looking at the NCC, that is the organizing committee that we are raised during the AFCON preparation, and of course going to the AFCON. Monies were raised, but we don't know whether those monies, the balance was retired or not, and then there's no report yet that has been submitted as to the NCC report. We'll be dilating on that if time permits us right here on Monday Night Football. Let me just welcome my colleague, that is Baikor, in the building. Baikor, you welcome.
Sarah, thank you very much once again, and saying a good evening to our viewers, those who are presently seated at home, following us live on TV, and those they are also following online. I'm saying good evening to all of them. Monday night is back for them, and as you just mentioned, our interest, focus, and concentration is to make sure we bring facts, analyze facts, and things that are progressing in Gambian football and the global sports, and things that are also lacking in Gambian football, because our success is to make sure the Scorpions and the Gambian football in general get to a height that all Gambians can be proud of, Sarah.
Okay, thank you very much. That is Mbai Kor right here on Monday Night Football. Let's just give you some updates before we go into the discussions. You can send us your messages on our Facebook page, and then we will talk about some of your comments on that page. But let's just look at some of the updates, as we already have seen, where Jibril Silla have 8 goals and service assists this season. The former Raja Casablanca player is lighting up the Tanzanian Premier League. Simba and Young Africans are keeping an eye, on the striker, according to our report. So Jibril Silla is really making headlines by core, in Tanzania. 8 goals and then 7 assists.
Yes, indeed, Sarah. This is what we expect for the Gambian players who are plying their trade outside with foreign clubs to be on their peak. Because the more they are on their peak, it will always be a headache for whoever coach will be in this Gambia to be appointed, or anyone who will be lucky to have the mantle of leadership by leading the Scorpions of the Gambia towards achieving 2 goals. That is, 1, to qualify for the 2025 AFCON, 2, to possibly make a maiden qualification on the world largest football stage, that is the 2026 World Cup. Their performance, it will really help at club level, so that if it comes to national level, together they can achieve something as a surprise.
Yeah, and I believe that he's a player to watch, the incoming coach.
Yes, indeed, because if there is real professionalism, I know, Sarah, I know by now possibly GFF may not come out openly to say who they appoint or who is their qualified candidate, but I'm sure behind the scene, possibly if they are really serious and ready to give us a coach on time, they might possibly discuss with someone who might also be taking the responsibility to be checking on the boys or trying to find out about the history of Gambian football and the Gambian footballers on the countries and clubs they are applying their trade.
Okay. Well, we've also seen that Yusuf Njai and his, club Al Norhia are officially relegated, to the Qatar second tier after the striker registered 6 goals and 2 assists in 21 games total. We all know that there's no doubt that he have received huge amount of money, but the performance of the club, was below, Palebla as required. That's been the case. Yusuf and his club, were relegated, to the second tier, of the Qatari Premier League.
Sarah, this is just a clear testimony. Like, players, some of them follow the money, not where they will develop or where they will be known. Yes, it is very true. Football, it is a very short career in the sense that you can yearn or intend to play for years or more than 2 or 3 decades. But sometimes along the way, if you are unlucky, you may have a life-threatening injury that will make you hang your boots earlier. But as far as you are with your hope and you are with your shape, always try your best to make sure you go to the teams that are recommended and let's say leagues also that are recommended that can pave the way for you. But if you just focus with the money at this young age, it means your focus is to earn money, not to be a top-class professional.
Yeah, but we also know that the money is also important,
Yes, indeed. The money is very important. But like, as I said, if you are in a rush, you take your time and you believe in your potentials, Sarah, you should be sure as a player that you have nothing to lose. It only depends on if you don't believe in your potentials. But if you believe in your potentials, you can. Yes, life after football, as I said, it matters. Because we see people whom you know that they were very rich and millionaires in football. But when they hang their boots, mismanagement comes and sometimes it ends up badly on those people, to be honest.
And even sometimes, looking at the lifespan, of Gambian football players, the time that they play, football, the time they reach at the peak of their career, and then we also look at the money, that they make. If you're a youngster, you want to say, well, I have to make money before, I reach this age because I don't know, what next for me. Because looking at the, the chances that we have in Europe, for me, I would say, is not that much compared, to our neighbor Senegal. Senegal, they have a lot of chances. They have scouts, who are in the major European league. Gambia, most of the scouts, that we have, are into the amateur leagues.
Yes, Sarah, you are very right by saying that. But for that notion or that mentality to be eradicated, it is the performance of the boys when it comes to national level. Because no matter what league they play, if their performance is up to expectation and is unsafe when they come for national duty, in the sense that they will be qualifying for major tournaments when it comes to national side, Sarah, be rest assured that if that is happening, you will be seeing most of our players from those major competitions nationally, they will be signed by big clubs. Because sometimes, yes, if you don't have the privilege for big scouts to come to your country and stuff like that, but big stages like African Cup of Nations, if we are constant participants or trying our best to be part of the World Cup or going far, there is tendency that our players, that will pave the way for them to be having good clubs in Europe. But if we are not focused or regular in African Cup of Nations, it will be very, very difficult, as you said, for our players to have big clubs. Because that's the fact. Our country don't have big scouts that you know that they can focus on big clubs or big leagues, because sometimes your relationship with big teams count. The record that you made or the history you made as a player or a scout and your credential counts. So if such are not coming in the country, it's the responsibility of the players to make sure they focus and be regular on African Cup of Nations or other big countries that we can have. Or it can also help, Sarah, in a sense that if the Gambia Football Federation is respecting the FIFA calendar and working towards it by making so every international break the Gambia have 1 or 2 test match, that alone also can pave the way for the players. But it's so sad that our main focus of our players have been seen to the big stages is only the AFCON.
Okay. We've also seen Seydi Janko was all over, for young boys in their 2-0 win, over FC Zurich on Sunday. He has 78 accuracy passes, 60% successful dribbles, 7 final third passes, and also 2 recoveries, 75 tackles won, 58% ground duels won, 88 touches, and also 90. He played for 90 minutes. All right, we say congrats to him. But we've also seen on the other end where PSV and Heaven are now crowned champions, meaning Yankuba Minte's Feyenoord will finish as runners up and will also play Champions League last season. Yankuba Minte has played very well. He has been there for his team. He has been the star for his team, the revelation for Feyenoord, and then the spotlight is always on him.
Yes, Sarah, that is very true, because at Feyenoord I can say it's timely in a sense that he just went there and paved his way to the starting lineup, and hence up to the time he secured the first starting lineup, the lad was not resting, and he wasn't allowing any of those teammates of him in Feyenoord to take the responsibility that he is having or to put him out of the bench. My only concern is, to be honest, he is still relying on in future. I will only pray that the coaches he will be playing under, they manage his games, because we've seen young players who were growing up because became youngsters. The more they were overused, they don't end up having a very good career, because they will go and have injuries that will damage them, and which is not good. Gambia is very small in a sense that it's hardly we produce big talents every year. So we have to make sure the coaches that are using him, to be honest, they manage his game, but it's really on his peak, and his move to Feyenoord really paid dividends to him, and it equally also helped the club in general.
Okay. Now, looking at the league, that's the GFF Women League Division 1. We've seen matches that have been played today. That is week 15, of course. We've seen Red Scorpion beating Gambia Armed Forces FC 6-1, and then Brikama United being beaten, by TMT FC 2-0. If you look at the league table, Red Scorpion, of course, are leading, with 39 points, followed by Bere Wuleng with 32 points. Police, of course, are third with 31 points, and then TMT with 28 points. We also seen, Koita, and others. Looking at GAF, I don't think whether, GAF, is going to survive this time around. They've really sipping in goals, and then looking at their game today, they've been beaten by 6-1 by Red Scorpions. We're going to dent their hopes, of survival.
Yeah, to be honest, Sarah, but I still have the belief and the hope that they will bounce back. Yes, bounce back in a sense that if they come as a team, because I believe in any team that is going through difficulties, it's the first responsibility of the players to come together, sit as a team, discuss together, and if there are any individual differences that is hampering or affecting the team, they put that behind to focus on one goal. Because normally, if they meet as a team and discuss, if their grievances, possibly I'm not saying it's there are problems, they can ask each other what is going on, so everyone can speak your mind.
Do they have problems?
No, I'm not sure if they do have problems, because the women football, Sarah, is hard to say, but the fact is it's only two-horse race. Two-horse race, that is Red Scorpion and Police. It's just that we see this time Bere Wuleng are making that impact. But at the end of the day, Red Scorpions or Police, one of them must have force. The other ones, you only count the figure, that is second or third and stuff like that. But to be honest, be sure the army will bounce back.
You look at the margin. If you've seen the table, Red Scorpions are below at the bottom, 10th. 10th position at the bottom of the table with 6 points. 6 points. The only point difference between them and City Girls, of course, is just 2 points. City Girls are on 8 points. So it's going to be very, very difficult. Brikama United is above them, with 12 points. So it's going to be difficult.
Yes, technically.
Yeah.
But to me, I still have the belief.
Okay.
Because, you see, the Gambian League needs experience. And one can buy everything in the world except experience. We can see that even in the main First Division League, look at the teams that were on top at the beginning. Where did they last? So this can show you that they have the experience. They know how to play the league. This is why I have the belief and the confidence that if they make best, I said again, if they make best use of their experience, possibly they will bounce back. Because why I say so, they will now have this belief that one target is out, that is being crowned champions. The only objective and the mission we have to complete is survival of the fittest. If that objective and that notion is in them, they train with that mentality, come to the team, respect their opponents, and play with that mentality that our aim is only for survival. Be rest assured, they will survive.
Okay, the Gambia under 20 women national team continue its technical, preparation of the National Technical Training Center in Olyundum ahead of the WAFU Zone A under 20 women's tournament to be hosted in Thiès, Senegal from the 20th to the 30th of May 2024. At today's morning session, head coach of the under 20 men's national team, Abdoulaye Bojang, joined the training and led the tactical session, with the girls. The president of the Gambia Football Coaches Association, Keba Jasper Toure, and the GFCA Secretary General Alhaji Ahmad Cham were also present, at today's session. And I think, their presence at least, is a motivation and also will boost the morale of the players. It would add something at the players because these are experienced coaches, who at least come to give a helping hand so that at least they can achieve their target during this WAFU Zone A under 20 Women Championship.
Sarah, it's a very good move. Yes, to be honest, and I agree with that. The only thing that I possibly may see that is, yes, their presence count a lot, and it's very important to show unity and solidarity. But one thing they should also consider the physical part, because the men's are more physical than that of the women. There are some physical challenges that the women footballers are going through, which you cannot put on them to adapt within the short period, number one. And considering also the focus and the concentration of the women football is very poor and is very low. So I think that support should first start from promoting the female football to a level whereby it can give them courage to face any country. But it's not courageous when it comes to female football. It's somehow not to standard, and the GFF don't focus much on that because we see and watch how the turnouts of their games are and how their games are prepared, which is so sad. Then secondly, it will also disturb the inexperienced players. What I mean by that is it will add pressure on them. Add pressure on them in a sense that they will all want to be extra to satisfy or convince those people. And their objective is not to select. The only person tasked to select the team is Joseph Jaba, I believe, who is given the responsibility to take it. But they should understand those people come for support. But that coming of support might disturb the inexperienced players. They will want to do extra things to satisfy those who are there, but it will really be so disturbing and it might traumatize them, because I understand and I know the first 10 have been trimmed to 25, and the coach is also about to trim another 5, makes it 20. So, and some players, the more they are trimmed, they are traumatized, feel like they are bad or they cannot. Well, it's not that, it's selection. So sometimes the lucky ones are taken and the best ones are left behind. At the end of the day, all what is important is one Gambia, one people, one nation.
Okay. Well, away from that now, we go into our discussion, that is the, independent stadium issue, that is the remodeling of the Independence Stadium, as you already know, is in progress. And this morning, the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Bakari Y. Baji, accompanied by the General Manager of the Independence Stadium, Mr. Ibu Fai, and the Acting Executive Director of the National Sports Council, Mr. Mahmoud Lamin Jaula, visited the Independence Stadium in Bakau to check the progress of the ongoing remodeling and renovation of the stadium. During the tour, Mr. Baji expressed his satisfaction with the current state of the project. He announced that the second phase of the remodeling is contracted for 4 months, but also indicated that a third phase might be required to complete the stadium's first major refurbishment since the 1980s. Journalists were also present during the visit, captured the spirit of optimism surrounding the renovation, which aims to revitalize sports venue for future events and gathering. And Mbai Kaur was there at the Independence Stadium with the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports. Mbai, how was it? You've been there, you've seen at first hand, the work that is currently taking place at the Independence Stadium, the only Independence Stadium that we have. We all know that a huge amount of money is also involved, with the remodeling, of the stadium. But we also know that the capacity, of the stadium is going to reduce, due to the remodeling that they are doing at the stadium. We've also had that the media team also, the place that they allocated for the media, media just have 50, slots, which, if you look at, international games that we have, well, it's going to be disturbing, but, this is what we have for the meantime, but we make sure that at least the second phase go as they plan, 4 months, according to the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports.
Sarah, indeed, that is what was said there, and as you said, yes, I have the first-hand information of what happens today at the Independence Stadium. As the minister mentioned, and that of the general manager of the stadium, who is Ibu Fai, said this phase is second phase. Why it is called the second phase is the previous one, their focus was only on the pitch and that of the seats of the pavilion, inclusive the dressing room and the team's entrance, because previously at the stadium, we are having only one entrance that both teams enter. If their buses come, they will park outside. And if we could all recall, a letter dated that of on the 16th of February 2022, CAF wrote a letter to by saying that the Gambia Independence Stadium, it's banned to host CAF A competitions. Why was it banned to host CAF A competitions? Is because it doesn't meet the required standard that CAF A competitions require, which was 16th of February 2022. And we can see it's almost now 2 years since the ban was done. They did effort for the first stage, but after an inspection, they said other additional to be done. And the additional, this is why the government said, as the minister says, the amount involved, according to the minister, said it's 153 million Gambian dollars.
Okay.
That is the amount involved of renovating the second phase, according to the minister. And the minister also went further to say that the renovation is fully funded and sponsored by the Gambia government. And the second part of the renovation, as we tour the ongoing renovation at the stadium, we were taken to the renovation site. Among them were first, as the general manager of the stadium, Ibu Fai, said, is number one, a car park. Because they should put car parks whereby it is Bahamat and top-class car parks, whereby spectators can have where to park their cars to avoid the stadium being full to capacity or jam park of cars. Because he said, CAF, they numbered the cars, because the ticket you bought, your car number will be there. So if that amount is full, no car will be allowed to park in one. Secondly, we are also taken to the fence, because they said, CAF said the fence lacked security. So therefore, this fence of the stadium, the main fence, should be adjusted according to the contractor that we made. They are 1.5 meters up for safety purpose. And on the second phase also, they said CAF recommend for the stadium to have a fence that demarcate the pavilion and that of the main entrance of the stadium. That is to say, where the pavilion stop, it will have a fence that round the whole pavilion outside so that you can have that demarcation, not just to have access to the pavilion from the main gate.
Okay, meaning that, for example, when it comes to ticketing, for example, you know, if the demarcation have been made, you know, at the stadium already, you know, if your ticket is gate A, you can only get through at gate A.
Correct.
All right. If your ticket is at gate B, that means you have to go to gate B.
Correct.
You know, as it is right now, you know, Gambians are used to, you just have your ticket, you know, you can get in at any gate of the Independence Stadium. But if the, you know, remodeling is finished, that means if you buy a ticket and your ticket is gate A, you can only get through at gate A. And then maybe there's going to be a distance where you park the cars, you know, also, you know, where you walk into to get access to the main pavilions.
Yes, very well. That is how they said it, because after we engage the general manager of the stadium, Mr. Ibufai, of how can that be, but he told us that they are to migrate from this normal ticketing selling outside of the streets and going to say, okay, go to this particular institution, you will have the ticket there, as they did previously. He said it will be digitalized. It will be all electronics. So for there being the case, hence the ticketing will be electronics. I believe they will work better to make sure we will not have such big electronic failures when it comes to the ticketing, whereby over-ticketing will not take place. And among also, Sarah, which they said, the, let's say the scoreboard, because the scoreboard is an old model, as they said, the stadium was built around the 1980s, which they will change the scoreboard to a modern one and which is so digitalized. They also create a media cabin in a sense that where players and coaches will be meeting the media for a presser before the game or after the game. Unlike whereby if there is a press conference, instead journalists to go and meet them, they will come and meet the journalists at the media cabin, which is down. And they also said those journalists who are also watching and are writing a report at that time can also be in the media center to write their reports and send them. Yes, which will help. They also they are renovating that of the toilets, because they said their main problem was the blockage, and the blockage was caused by the plumbing system, because they said the 1980 plumbing system was there. According to Mr. Ibufai, who is the general manager of the stadium, said all the plumbing system will be changed completely to make sure it is the latest one. This is why all the spectators' toilets, they are also working on that to make sure everything is okay and to a standard whereby CAF will say, yes, this is what we want and this is how it is going to be. If not, the ban will not be lifted, but they are working tirelessly. So when we focus on the duration, what we were told by both the minister and Ibufai is the duration of the contract completion or the renovation is 4 months. It means from here to August is where we are expecting the renovation of phase 2 to finish. They said also there is possibility phase 3 that will go, but they said the phase 2 renovation is targeted for 4 months, which they believe and expect it will finish within 4 months.
Okay, let's just, Bas, if we can, you know, have the engagement that the media had with the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports live on Monday night for the benefit of our listeners so that they can hear from the Minister himself.
Independence Stadium is one place that every Gambian was so much interested in. Even those who were never interested in sports have taken up the discussion of the stadium as a major issue and have, you know, talked about it in multiple times, and yes, and for the right reason, because we know it's the only stadium that we have. Playing outside the country was in the desirable condition, but that's what we find ourselves in. But as you can see, work is progressing, has just started, and like Mr. Fai said, our anticipation is that in 4 months' time, from the period of starting, the work will be completed, and we will be able to bring back our matches to play at home. So generally, as you all see, the second phase don't have much to do with what happened in the first phase. The first phase is completed initially, and now this is the areas that have been recommended. And again, I know this has been an issue when people said the last time, well, CAF said our stadium does not qualify. And I've always said this, that was a decision that was made a long time ago. Our stadium was not qualified, even last year. What happened last year was, based on the advice of the Federation, the ministry decided to invite a CAF official to come on the ground and look at the work that we task ourselves to do, where we have gone so far, and also advice, because they know exactly what their expectation is. So their advice is what we have incorporated and took it into what is called the first phase, so that we can be able to meet the requirement that CAF wants us. And again, I want to take this opportunity to reiterate that CAF's visit the last time was not a CAF-initiated activity. It was a ministry-initiated activity based on what we were doing. And our intention for them to come and look at what our plan is and advise us on whether it is good enough to meet CAF standard or not. And what they said was what we tasked ourselves to do in the first phase was not good enough, and we needed to add. But it came at the right time when work was still going on, and then they can be able to look at it. And that's what happened. So the second phase, like you all saw, is, includes some demolitions, as you would see, with the media center and the media tribune and the press conference center, which is a big issue for CAF. So the area that is reserved on the Democracy Act, we call it, is going to occupy about 50 seats of the journalists. And those seats are coming along with their desk and plugs and other internet access. That will be for the media. And the one right behind us is where the media will now have their press conference on one part, and on the other part it will be for the media briefing, for the media to prepare their stories and be able to send them during halftime or at the end of the match or anytime. So you can do all your work here with everything being available. And then the other part, like Mr. Fay explained, is the landscaping. So we have two areas of landscaping. On this part is the soft part, which is going to have the Bahama grass and flowers to beautify the area. And on the other part, the outer part, there will be a complete slab, which is the hard land surfacing, which is going to go around the entire stadium. And those are the areas also we would have our parking lots. And the parking lots, according to the requirement, is supposed to be numbered and it's supposed to have zones. So if you're coming to, example, the East Zone, you know that my parking lot would be East Zone, maybe parking lot number 3 or number 5 or number 20. So every vehicle that is coming, if you buy a ticket to coming, then you know that you're supposed to park on that side because that's where your seat is going to be. Same thing with the numbering of the seats of the stadium. Each seat in that stadium is going to have a number, and people would be expected to know their ticket. When they buy their tickets, on their ticket, the number would be there. You don't have to worry about anything. You just come, and you know you are in Zone A, you are in seat number 10, you go and sit on those areas. So those are the security aspect. And the outer fencing, which is the outer perimeter, is going to fence the entire stadium. So right here is where the fence will be placed, and it's going to be metal. And the construction company is here, Jigo, that are going to do that. So they will run the metal fence across the entire main bowl. And then you will have only entrance gates in the major areas. Like if you come in the VIP area, you will have an entrance gate that leads you in. If you go to the scoreboard, like we call it, area, you will have an entrance gate that takes you in. The same thing with all the 4 zones. And those will be the only entrance gate that will lead to the stadium. And it's not going to be open as it is right now. And the fence, the requirement is that we need to make it higher than it is. So in areas where there were visible cracks or the engineers recommend that they're going to demolish it, they will demolish. As you saw on that part, you will see them demolishing those areas. On the other part, they have also demolished those fences, and they're going to put up a new fence. But in areas where it's considered strong enough, they will just increase the height, and everything would be at the same level at the end of the day. So these are some of the works, as you might have already seen. And of course, the scoreboard, we're going to have an electronic or LCD scoreboard, like they call it, which is going to give you real-time events as they happen while the match is on, with the coordination of the TV center or the cameras centers over there. What's it called? The media? Okay, so with the coordination of the media center, so whatever is happening at the stadium can reflect on the scoreboard. So these are generally some of the works that we task ourselves to do. And delayed as it might be, we all know what the problem was. It was an issue of funding, but eventually we were able to get the funds, and now we have started the work, and we look forward to its successful completion and for us to host our matches. So we will, that's the general introduction. If you have any questions, you're free to ask.
that was Honorable Bakary Waibaji, of course, taking us through as to the remodeling, phase that is currently happening at the Independent Stadium. He was very brief, and then he talks about a lot of it, almost all the issues, that you've mentioned here. Although people will say, wow, the huge amount of money, that is involved, because if you add all together, the government of the Gambia is investing, let's say, $280 million, in rehabilitating the Independent Stadium in Bakau, the first major renovation since its construction that was in 1984. Minister Yusuf Baji confirmed, the progress on the first phase, meeting CAF standards, and disbursed $153 million for the second phase, CAF ensures compliance. This marks a significant step towards modernizing the stadium, expected to be completed in August 2024, promising enhanced sports infrastructure and, of course, opportunities, for Banjul and beyond.
Yes, indeed, Sarah, because to be honest, it's something which Gambians welcome. And as the minister said, he said the Independent Stadium have been an agenda and the talking point to majority of Gambians. He said even for those who are not football fans, always use the Independent Stadium as a talking point. But he acknowledged they have the right and they choose the Independent Stadium as a talking point as fact. He said because this is the only stadium that the Gambia is having. So it is their responsibility to make sure the stadium is upgraded to a standard whereby everyone will adore it. So this is why he said they will do everything possible to make sure it is fully completed on time, and it can be also a place whereby all Gambians will unite again, cheer our boys, because the Gambian populates really miss cheering the boys at the Independent Stadium. They really miss watching our stars live at the Independent Stadium. And he said also the renovation and the readiness of the Independent Stadium is to their own advantage. Advantage in a sense that he make a point clear that some may not understand. Because all the away games that the Gambia is playing per se on a choosing country in Morocco, Gambia spend exactly what they should spend, in a sense that it's still a home game for the Gambia. What they should take care of that other team, if it was in the Gambia here, is the same thing that they will take care of that other team. But compared to Gambia, he said in Gambia you pay less because they will use our own Gambian hotels, our own Gambian company buses, but in other countries, you will pay their hotels for your team as Gambia and the team of that particular country. You also provide movement for that team, that is their technical team and their national team, which is more expensive. He said, to be honest, the benefit is playing our home matches in the Gambia, but it's really a big disadvantage and it's so expensive to host our home games outside the Gambia, which the expense is very high. This work they are working tirelessly to make sure we secure playing back in the Gambia.
All right, some comments coming in. All right, this one says, thanks for the clarification. What a good news for all the football fans, in the Gambia. We missed to watch our national team playing in front of us. That is from somebody that is Sidiko Suno, watching all the way from Faraba Banta. Thank you very much, Sidi. Yusufa from Sari Alpha Basuna said, hi, Star FM, we love you guys. Thank you very much. Keep your comments coming. Mohamed Jao, send your comments on our Facebook page. Of course, we will read them so that at least you will know, our fans are always, priority number one. Well, now let's just look at the national team coach. The issue of the national team coach, is long overdue. As you already know, a lot of fans were expecting by now, at least, we would have known, all right, who is the coach of the national team. It seems that the Gambia Football Federation, is doing everything under the carpet. The Gambians are not aware what is happening right now. We've known there were at least, 5 shortlisted individuals, for the position of the national team coach, and now I'm hearing rumors and unconfirmed reports that it's been trimmed down now to 3 people, who are left right now. I think, the GFF should have at least published the name, of the 5 short-listed coaches, and then if they trim it down, there's also short-listed at least the 3 available, sports and who are they, so that at least it can be more transparent, so the Gambians will know, okay, it's Mr. So and so, so and so, so that we can also, the media can also know. Let's say they can also go and search, do their homework, and know whether these people really meet the criteria set aside, by the Gambia Football Federation, for the position of the national team, coach. But right now, everything is done under the carpet.
Yes, Sarah, is indeed done under the carpet, which is not fair, because I believe the GFF should know that they are holding a public office, while people are saying
no. For them, is not a public according to what they said.
No, but why? Who are they serving then? They are not serving themselves. No, I totally disagree that if they should sit there and say they are serving themselves, I disagree, because you have stakeholders.
Yeah,
stakeholders are part of the public, so you cannot sit there and say you are serving yourself.
And fans are part of the stakeholders. Yeah.
Yes, and fans are part of the stakeholders. Yeah. You see why?
And the national team coach is a national issue.
Exactly. So it belongs to everyone.
It is not a club issue. It's a national issue, because at the end of the day, is our taxpayers' money, is the Gambian taxpayers' money that finance the national team.
Yes, but because if they say they are not serving the public, but the letter G should then let them take out the letter G there, because the letter G stands for what? Gambia. We know that it was all called Gambia Football Association. If in 2016 they come and change it to Gambia Football Federation, then the G should be changed. They are purely and fully serving the general public and the Gambia. Sarah, it's unacceptable. Tom Sinfield announced his resignation on the 23rd of January 2023. Today is on the 6th of May. We still don't have any clear evidence or information that someone can rely on to say this is the step they've taken. They've set up a criteria, and I believe that criteria that they send, GFF have no excuse, Sarah, of bringing us a below standard coach, simply because they sit and discuss this matter. So if many people apply, because I cannot confirm, we have to stick on the facts, but regardless to what, they cannot bring us a low-class coach whom they will be giving excuses. And Sarah, as you said, why they still, I believe, to my own perspective, I might be wrong. But why I thought and believe that they don't want to release these names is, as you said, if they release this name, I, for one, and someone else will go and find out, investigate about those names. And we believe who will be the right guy. But if you don't show those names, how can we investigate and know? Because the media is also a stakeholder in this game. So allow the media to speak their mind, and also allow, if you are criticized,
and allow the media to sound the opinion of the general public,
exactly,
of the Gambia, so the Gambia can also have a say, in also what is happening. But we all know at the end of the day, is the GFF, they have their own modalities, they have their own process, of choosing, a national team coach, but at least we should be prevail, with the names of the shortlisted individuals.
Sarah, I agree, and that is true. Why GFF should open to the media is, they should be very, very open, because this GFF, Facebook page is not accessible to everyone. It is only accessible to those using Facebook one, not just to use. But if you don't follow, you cannot have that access. And it's not everyone is interested or following that. But look at satellite, online. Majority of Gambians are following. Satellite are online, radios and newspapers. Why not GFF be so media friendly when it comes to these media platforms or institutions that I mentioned? But just to send information on GFF page, no, that is totally unacceptable, and it's not fair, and it's not transparency, because it's not everyone have access to Facebook. Some people, yes, it's true, they are using Facebook, but they may not know the steps they are to take till to have access of that information which is released by GFF. So they should not be selective when it comes to the medias that they will be going out to talk and designate information. They should be open and be free to all media houses who may need their presence to come and set light or put clarification. But Sarah, the fact is, GFF select medias that they will go and clarify. And they never clarify until the red flag is raised, which is totally unacceptable. It is a body that is respected. It is a body that I believe and knows that they are full professional, but information is vital. Information is what people should know. The journalists, we are the eye and the ear of the public. So it is our responsibility to hold GFF or anybody accountable to make sure whatever requires public interest, Sarah, we will dig deep, we follow it up to the last minute, because why? It is a public interest. And the public is the guys we are serving. Those who don't know, they are relying on us to know the facts. We should avoid rumors, we should avoid speculation, and they should release these names to the media. We scrutinize them at our level. Our scrutiny, Sarah, doesn't mean they will not appoint those people. We will also find out to have facts, so that if things goes wrong, we should guide them. Today, if they were not in the helm of affairs, we will never talk about them, but talk less of mentioning their names. But let them also know they can do what they want, but we will still be talking of what we know. And as either sooner or later, by the hook or by the hack, they will leave that office and they will not go along with the building. The building will remain.
Yeah, but will it be too late, for the coach that is supposed to come? Because we all know preparation has to be made. Other teams who have already sacked their coaches or their coaches resigned have, at least chosen their coach since.
Yes, to me, it's very late. We've seen Nigeria. They've appointed a coach. Other countries appointed coaches that we know we've mentioned here earlier. And they said in the criteria, the primary responsibility of the coach that they will appoint, number one, is to qualify the Gambia for the 2025 AFCON. Number two is to prepare the team for the 2026 World Cup. This short period, 4 months you don't appoint. Gambia is playing next month, June. Which coach will take that huge responsibility of saying, yes, I'm going to qualify the Gambia 2025? Sarah, it's very, very late. And as I said, based on the criteria GFF announced, GFF have no excuse to bring us a coach who is below standard.
All right, they have no excuse, of course, to bring us a coach who is below standard, but we've all seen, what is in the criteria, and I know, sooner or later, Gambians would know who the coach is going to be, and then the media would have to, Gambia would have to find out, whether he or she, whether he rather really missed the criteria, that is attached, to the post of the national team coach. Because as you already know, I don't set the criteria, you don't set the criteria. I think the criteria are set by the Gambia Football Federation, also in partnership with the National Sports Council, because they cannot, do away without the National Sports Council also, being involved together with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, but we hope that, let's say, within 1 week or 2 weeks at least, we will know who is going to be the coach of the national team. A lot of people want, instead of foreign coach, a Gambian nationality, to handle the mantle, of leadership when it comes to the Gambia Football Federation. At least we give them a chance to see how best they can also, take the senior national team. But I know that it's going to be a big tax. Any coach that is, been assigned, to coach the national team has a very big tax. Has a very big tax in the sense that if you look at, the achievement, that the team have already achieved, at the international stage. We've qualified to the AFCON twice, and then we do not wish to fail, to qualify again, to the AFCON. So any coach that comes has to at least, go at least a bit above, the achievement of Coach Thompson Fed.
That's very true, Sarah. As I said, no excuse, and I insist that GFF, the criteria they mentioned, they have no room for failure on appointing the coach. Why I still insist that is GFF who put the criteria. Yes, they have to engage the National Sports Council and that of the ministerial level. But the release and the announcement It's from the Gambia Football Federation page. That is where I quote my reference. That reference served that it is GFF who set the criteria. Why? What they do indoors, I cannot talk about it. But what it's given to the public, that is what we can rely on, Sarah, and that's the fact. This is why I said to you, Sarah, GFF have no room for any failure. They have no room for excuse, and it is an obligation to them. Then let them come out and inform the Gambian populace what is happening about the coach, what caused the delay, and even they are not willing to inform or reveal the names that they sublisted. But let them say, we sublist a particular amount for the position of the senior national team coach. But let them know that they said the person should also be experienced, have a minimum experience of 5 years, maximum of 10 years in international football engagement. And also preferably a knowledge on African football. Very well. So that portion, I for one am very particular of those portions that they mentioned, sir. Okay. All right. Mbai, time is against us right here on Monday Night Football. Any last few words before we close? Just to say thank you very much to our viewers who are seated at home and those following us online making their comments. This is Monday night, let them keep tuning. As I said earlier, we don't dislike anyone, we don't hate anyone, and we did not want to see anyone failure. Our only interest here is the way forward for Gambian football. Our only interest is transparency, accountability. That's the only reason why we are making sure the truth is said. We don't say things based on rumors. We don't say things based on speculation. This is why whatever we said might confuse the public. It is put before their screen. They know that it's not an origin or something that is stated by Star TV. It is a fact or a source that comes from a reliable authority. All right. Thank you very much, Mbai Kaur. Thank you very much, viewers, of course, those who were watching us on the Facebook Live, and of course, those who were watching also at the comfort of their homes, watching Monday Night Football. We say thank you very much for being with us throughout the program. And of course, a big thank you to, that is, Bas and crew, the technical team. They've really done a wonderful job. We'll be giving you, another appointment. That's going to be another Monday, of course, when we will have the full house. As already know today, Campo together with Yero are engaged. But we assure you that on Monday we will be having full house right here on Monday Night Football. On behalf of the team and everyone here at Star TV, I'm Sarah Kamara. I say bye to all of you out there. Keep on supporting, and good night to all of you, and sleep well. Bye from us.